What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast interview. First off, thank you so much for tuning in, for checking out the show. Your support is massively appreciated. The only reason that this show exists is because of all of your amazing support. So we truly appreciate your support. I truly appreciate your support. Make sure that you're sharing the show with as many people that you feel would benefit from the show. The goal is to always grow this show and go out there and have a big impact. Real quick though, before we jump into today's podcast, I want to plug our sponsors that make all of this possible. Our first sponsor is my personal 90-day mastery bootcamp. This is my real estate agent mentorship training program. It's a group training platform. This way it makes it extremely affordable for you. Inside this program, however, I am unpacking my entire playbook. I'm walking you through step by step everything that I do inside my real estate business, everything that I've done, everything I've learned in my 12-plus year career with selling over 5,000 homes, with selling over $1 billion in real estate. And I walk you through step by step exactly what I've done, how I built what I've built, and what I'm doing today to go out there and create this success. But don't mistake the low cost for low value. This is an insanely in-depth, step-by-step program where I'm walking you through, again, step-by-step on how I go out there. My team sells 1 to 2 homes every single day in today's market, continue to grow my business year after year, and how I've been able to exit from selling, exit from actually day-to-day involvement in my real estate team, and create an epic, amazing real estate team that not only sustains but grows without my involvement. So whatever level that you're at, whether you're a brand new real estate agent, you're an individual high-producing agent that wants to expand and create a team, or if you already have an amazing team, or you're a broker owner that's looking to step up your internal training, looking to step up your systems, your processes, your tracking, make your business more predictable, this program is absolutely for anybody that's serious about leveling up inside their business. So check us out, www.90daymastery.com. Make sure you use promo code LIVEMASTERY, all one word, all together, all caps. That's going to get you the biggest discount on 90daymastery.com. You're going to see tons of testimonials on there, video testimonials, what's included in the program, the future dates of the program. I do several of these every single year, so make sure to check us out and make sure to jump inside that program ASAP. My next sponsor that makes this show possible is PerfectStormNow.com. If you're a real estate agent and you are looking for a lead generation machine website backed by an insanely powerful CRM system that allows you to convert your leads to appointments at the highest possible level, manage all your tasks, make sure that you're effective and efficient as you possibly can be inside your business, transaction management component, all of that stuff. It is hands down by far the most effective and affordable real estate website and CRM program that exists out there in the industry. It's what I use to go out there and sell 650 plus homes every single year, and the system is gnarly. If you're signing up for that program, make sure to use promo code MASTERY, PSN, all caps, all one word, all together. That'll save you the $200 registration fee and get you a great discount. Our last sponsor is REO University. So I teamed up with a good buddy of mine who is the most knowledgeable dude, hands down, that I've ever met when it comes to REO properties. This guy used to work for the banks directly as an asset manager, and he developed so many of the systems that you see that asset managers and asset management firms and banks use today. This guy sold over 11,000 properties, foreclosure properties, as an asset manager. And he and I teamed up with my experience of working with over 35 banks in my career, selling thousands of REOs, plus his experience. We've created just an insane program. Again, REO University, the website is www.REO Mastery University. It's a one-time payment for $997, or you can split that up into 3 monthly payments. This is not a live boot camp like my 90-Day Mastery boot camp. This is something that you have access to instantaneously. We walk you through exactly how to go out there and get in with the banks. So how to get the business, but then how to service that business at the highest level, how to go out there and complete BPOs, how to complete cash for keys, how to make sure that you're insane at your valuations, how to go out there and make sure that your asset managers are winning and hitting their goals, key indicators you need to look for, and more. There's 22 in-depth, just amazing, powerful modules that will teach you how to become an REO machine inside your real estate business. Now, if you're like me, I don't want my business to ever be in a vulnerable position, right? I don't care if it's a good market, bad market. It doesn't mean that my business needs to be good or bad. My business can always be great. During a market crash, right? There's no such thing as if the market's going to crash. It's just a matter of when, right? But again, you don't need to put yourself in a vulnerable position. You can make sure that your real estate business is 100% recession proof, and go out there and, of course, generate business, do a ton of business regardless of what's happening in the marketplace. And this is exactly how you go out there and do it. And we walk you through step by step. So check us out, REOMasteryUniversity.com. You can learn more about the program, hopefully register for the program, jump on in. This price will not last long, right? We just created this product, rolled it out several months ago, and just getting in the hands of the consumer, and people are having a lot of amazing success. So again, check us out, REOMasteryUniversity.com. All right, again, you guys, thank you so much for watching this show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to share the show. Make sure to comment. Like us on YouTube. Leave some positive comments. We love hearing back from you guys, and love getting your feedback. Keep kicking ass, and let's jump on in to today's interview. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast interview every single week. We interview top entrepreneurs, top real estate agents, and straight top badass that they're dominating their spaces. People choosing to not live a life of mediocrity, but instead to go out there and create big, amazing, epic lives for themselves and their family members. And today, you guys, we got a special rock star guest on the show. Our guest today, guys, is a friend of mine. He's an amazing real estate agent up in Reno, Nevada. Now, check this out. He's only been in the business not even for 3 full years. So 2 full years, going on his 3rd full year. First year in the business, did $6.7 million of gross volume sold. And just to put context to this, if you don't know what usually takes place in a real estate agent's first year, the average first year realtor makes $10,000 in commissions. So this dude did $6.7 million in his first full year, $11.8 million in his second full year, and now is on his 3rd year and just continues to grow and expand. So really stoked and honored to have Brian Bejun on the show. My friend.
Hey, man, thank you for that awesome introduction, dude. It's awesome to be in this audience with you and to be part of GSD, man. I wouldn't be here without you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it's an honor, man. It's going to be a lot of fun, dude. I mean, you're doing some insane, epic things, right? In such a short period of time. Which is what I love about real estate, dude, is you can go from being new, having nothing, to being a rock star in 6 months, right? If you put in the work and the focus like you've obviously done. But before we get into what you've done to create this big success out of the gate, I'm always intrigued in our guest journeys that led them here, because I know that you were more of in the corporate world, a regular gig, security, all that, and made this transition. So if we run those clocks, like, what led you into real estate, and how did that transition go?
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because I've thought about that question. If you were ever to ask me that question, what would my response be? And I've had a lot of time to think about that response. And I have to really thank my cousin Mandy, who at a very young age, my family, I grew up in a very small town, very tight-knit community. I had tons of family around, so I grew up in a great community of people alongside my family. And we would do yard sales. And my cousin, I'm surprised she's not a business owner or a realtor or whatnot, because she is really a savant when it came, in my opinion, at a young age. She's like, hey, our parents are selling stuff for people. Why don't we sell lemonade? And I was like, okay, cool. I'll go along with that. So she was the head lead in that. And so for several summers, we'd sell lemonade. I know that sounds really cliche, but that's what we would do. And as I got older, I would do things that were more like yard work, landscaping, stuff like that to earn a penny. And I never knew what entrepreneurship really was at that time, but I enjoyed making a buck, and it was important to me. And I grew up in a very humble household with a single family household with my mom and my sister. I was the youngest kid. So, to be able to have that capacity and work for yourself, it really meant a lot. And I know I learned that from my mom, because she worked 2 jobs and did her damn best to raise 2 hellions underneath her wing. So she's really a hero and inspiration to me, and also my cousin is too. So I thank them both for just kind of guiding me along the way at a very young age. And then when I got older, I got into some trouble, and I was at a party, and I went to go to Jack in the Box with my friend Jim, who wasn't a drinker, and I was 19 years old, and I was like, yeah, of course I want to go to a party and hang out with friends and try to hit on girls, of course. And so we left the party, and we ended up going to Jack in the Box, and we pulled out of the Jack in the Box, and someone had complained about his vehicle because it didn't have a muffler, because every time he'd shift, it sounded like a shotgun. And now, I'm in a small town, so that's going to reverberate a lot. So we ended up getting pulled over, and a cop comes up to me and says, have you been drinking? And I ended up getting arrested. And so I spent that morning in jail thinking to myself, man, what do I got to do to better myself? And that's when I kind of made that grown-up decision to take my life more seriously. And I joined the Navy. The next Monday, after I got out of jail on Saturday, I went to the recruiter on Monday, and I was like, man, I got to better myself. This is the situation I'm in. The Navy had no problem with that. Pay my fine, and off I went, man. And it was the greatest decision I ever made, was to probably go to that party, for one, and two, to get apprehended by the police at a young age. It shook me, and it just propelled me into a place where you got to work hard to get what you want in life. So I don't know if I'm going on a tangent here, man, answering your question, but I just thought I'd kind of give you some background on my history. But I joined the Navy, and I thought that when I joined the Navy that I'd be walking into an office from 9 to 5, drinking coffee, wearing my dress whites, and whistling Dixie while sweeping a broom, just taking it easy. And it was completely the opposite of that. I went through boot camp and went through my schooling, and eventually made it to my command. My command was out at sea at the time, and all I did was stand watches and hang out at the barracks. And then when they came in from the detachment, that's when the real Navy hit me. That's when I was like, oh my goodness, this is the Navy, wow, all these jets are flying in. I was in a F-18 squadron, and I was out there with the petty officer in command, catching the birds, which is the aircraft, and all this stuff is happening so fiercely and intense. And I was like, okay, so I'm not going to be drinking coffee every day and coming into work from 9 to 5. It's going to be, I'm coming into work from 5 to 9, and then set and sail, going on adventures and just working really hard. And I, to be honest with you, I got my ass handed to me in the Navy. It taught me the Navy taught me how to grow up, and it taught me about systems and processes, which is very, imperative in our business, as you know.
So then, all right, so you're in the Navy. At some point, you make that decision, because I'm sure you could have continued that and had a lifelong career there, but you decide to get out. And I believe you got into mortgage sales, then had another position where you got into real estate. What was that defining moment or that decision to not continue and make a transition?
So to not stay in the Navy, wow, man, it was actually a pretty tough decision. I was guaranteed like a really nice reenlistment bonus of like $44,000. They're going to give me 4 years shore duty. The only problem was with all of this, man, was I was going to get stationed back in my hometown in Fallon, Nevada. And I was like, I didn't join the Navy to go back home. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to get out. I joined the Navy because I wanted to go to college. I did pretty well in high school and junior high and so on and so forth. And I felt like that I owed myself that opportunity. So I said, see you later, Navy. It was great. Had a great time in the 4 years that I was there. And then I came back to Reno. My mom said, "Hey, come stay with me. I just moved to Reno. You can stay with me for free." That's all I heard. Free. Okay. Yeah. I don't have that much money. I'm going to go to college and so on and so forth with $900 a month in GI Bill money. So I was surviving off of $900 a month for the next it was about 2.5 years. So I went summer of 2002 through summer of 2004 going to college. And during summer of 2003, I was just getting so sick of going to school, man. I did well, but I just couldn't pay attention. I was sick of writing papers. It just wasn't it was the lifestyle for me. I was like, I'm not the guy who likes to write papers. I don't like going to class and listening to someone's lecture that I probably don't believe in. It just wasn't for me. So my friend, one of my closest friends, Josh Morrow, who's actually one of my lending partners right now, was working for this company called MLSG Home Loans. And so for like a year, he tried recruiting me to come work with him. And he's like, "Oh, it's great. All you got to do is just dial brokers." I'm all, wow, that sounds so fun. I think I'm going to stick to school and become an archaeologist because that was the big plan. I wanted to be Indiana Jones, get that hat and earn that whip. That's how I saw archaeology. It's completely not like that, but that was my fantasy at least. And so like a year later, like around the early part of 2004, Josh calls me up and says, "Hey, it's ladies' night. It's Thursday night. Let's go out and let's go have some drinks and go hit on the ladies, And I was like, all right, I'm down with that. He says, he's like, "I'm going to come pick you up." I'm like, all right, that's kind of rare. So he comes and picks me up and he's got this brand new truck. And I'm like, "Wow, Josh, well, how did you get that truck?" He's all, "Remember that job I was telling you about? I just made $24,000 last month and I got this new truck." I was like, "Dude, I'm surviving off of $900 a month in GI Bill money. Sign me up." He's like, "Okay, give me a resume." I said, "Fine, man." So I got him a resume, and a few months later, I got an interview with this gentleman named Andrew, who was a VP of sales there. And he's looking over my resume, and he's like, "Hey, you don't have any sales experience." And I said, "Whoa, if Josh can make $24,000 a month, I guarantee you I can do the same, and I'll do it quicker." And I just sold myself to this guy because he wasn't going to hire me. He's like, "Nah, you should go back to college." And I was like, "No, please give me this opportunity. I'm literally sick of eating Cheez-Its and Top Ramen soup. Please give me this opportunity." And he did. The following, I think I interviewed on a Friday, and like the following Monday, he called me up, said, "Hey, congratulations. We'll give you a job, and we're going to pay you $1,600 a month." And I was like, "Sold. That's way more money I'm making now." We're moving up to moving out of the Cheez-It stage to go buy tacos at Taco Bell now, man. So it was a move up. So I got there, and it was like the boiler room, man. People were getting fired. Like I was walking in to be one of the new guys, and people were walking out because they're getting fired because they weren't meeting their numbers. And I had no idea. I was walking into a sales position. I had no clue. So I had to pass these series of tests, which I subsequently did. And after I passed the test, I had to get on the phone with my VP and do these fake phone calls, kind of like how we do scripts now. And I thought it was ridiculous because I kept laughing on the phone because I'm like, "Dude, you're right there. And I'm talking to you, and it's just making me laugh." I'm like, just let me get on the phones. And he's like, "All right, you've proven yourself. You can pass the test and go ahead." So back then, all I would do was go on the internet and I would Google or Yahoo brokerages in California, places I was familiar with in the Navy and Virginia Beach and Florida. So I just would call up brokerages, have these big printouts, and I would, do what we call dialing for dollars, man. And I would just stay on the phone all day long until I could try to get a sell. And 3 months into it, I couldn't get a sell. And I knew I was at that apex where, at that point where Andrew was probably going to fire me. So I get called in his office, and I'm like, great, I quit college. This fall semester just started, and I'm about to get fired. And he calls me in there and he says, hey, close the door. I close the door, and he says, there's this broker out of Las Vegas that says you keep calling them. And I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to get a deal from them. Back then it was an 80-20, 100% financing, no MI. I said I was giving a point and rebate in the back end, and the guy loved it. And it was for a 580 FICO score. And that's something that we were doing. And he's like, okay. He's all, well, I think you should go home and just take the rest of the day off. And it was a Friday, and I just freaked out. And I was like, man, I'm going to get fired when I come back to work on Monday. And one of the guys there was a top salesman in our division at the time named Ryan Peacock. He was always nurturing me and trying to help me out. And he called me up after the meeting after I got home, and I was stressed out of my mind. I was totally on fire. And he called me up to kind of calm me down and get to my senses. And he said, hey man, Andrew let you go because you're doing your job and you're doing it really well. He says, it'll come to you. Just don't worry about it. Take the rest of the weekend off. Just relax. And so I did. I took his advice, and I came in there on Monday on fire. And Ryan came up to me and says, you know why you're not getting any production? I'm like, I don't know. I'm calling these guys. I'm standing on the phone. I'm befriending them. I'm building a rapport. He's all, you're not asking for the sale. I was just like, oh, simple. I'm not, okay, that makes sense. And so I was kind of tickled by that. I was like, that's so simple. He's all, yeah, you've been building these relationships. You're great at it, but you're not asking for any of the business. And so with that in hand, I was like, you know what? It's on. So I remember that was like September of 2004. And the next thing you know, we had to advance to like this tier. You had to fund like 12 deals by 3 months. And then you get on full commission after that. I can't remember what it's called, like tier 3 or something like that. And so in that 3 months, I crushed it, man. I got the 12 deals. And then January of 2005, I began earning full commission. And I moved up, and throughout that whole year, just kept climbing the sales ladder. And I got to number 5 in the business, and just living on top of the world by the end of 2005. Well, for one, just found out I was going to have a kid. So I've always wanted to be a father. So, I mean, even though it was very unexpected, most things that are great. Anyways, I was thrilled to find out that I was going to have a daughter, and I just bought a house, and I was getting engaged. So life was great in 2005. Life took a huge turn in 2006. 2006 was probably my most stressed out year that I've ever experienced in my entire life. I went from, making this nice 6-figure commission income in 2005, being number 5 in sales and the whole business, my second year into it. And I have this house and everything's great. Well, the market shifted here in Reno, and like we're here at ground zero, and things just started falling apart. And the writing was on the wall. Like I said to you earlier, I was reading an article about business and subprime loans, and the future of subprime loans, and the market share in 2000, 2008 was going to be pretty close to zero. So armed with that information and the fact that, here I am almost 9 months later, and my kid's going to be born, my daughter, excuse me. I just said, this isn't going to work. I'm scraping for pennies on the dollar right now, and it's the most stressful thing I went through. And I decided to pull chalks and chains, and I humbly got a new position at the Department of Veterans Affairs as a veteran service representative. And I was fortunate enough to use my veteran background to get a job there. So I leveraged all these skills that I had, building businesses, bond and rapport, and it, if you know how to take care of people, you can really earn a really great living. And I did, and it disappeared. I had to file bankruptcy, NOD foreclosure. I had at one point had $50 in the bank account, 8-month-old daughter and a fiance to take care of. And it was rough, man. I was seriously in a rough spot for a few years, and time would allow me to recover, though, man.
Yeah, love it, dude. One, I mean, I know that was a gnarly experience that you went through, but man, what an insane skill set and habit, if you will, to learn to set that trajectory for success in real estate, right? I mean, you're all day long on the phones, doing sales calls,
right?
The skill of asking for the sale, you've gotten good at it. I'm sure that laid a massive foundation for your success in real estate.
Yeah, I'm a very humble guy, man, and I don't like to pat myself on the back too often, but I think you're right. I think when I got into real estate, I already had a foundation. I didn't have to build. I just had to, like you said before, sharpen your skill saw. I just had to knock that rust off and just get comfortable again asking for the sell. And the building and the rapport, getting on the phones is a really good skill set that I have. My first sign call ad, I hooked these people right from the get-go. I was just like, hey, you called up on one of our listings, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, it's actually in contract. Is there something I can do to help you out? And they're like, no, we don't want a realtor. We're like, oh, hold on. I know this area really well, and my services are free. And as soon as I said that, they're like, well, okay, we'll try you out. And it's so funny because Greg and Shantae are now really great friends of mine. They actually have come in here and remodeled my house and everything now. So yeah, it's real estate is powerful, man. It's just like you said before, it's a human relation business, and it's not just about real estate. It's about those connections that we build with these people, and it's priceless to me to have these relationships.
Yeah, love it, dude. So when you first got into real estate, I know that you joined a team,
right.
Which since you kind of like your first half of your career thus far was on a team. Now you're you've broken from the team and now building your own business. What initially attracted you to the team? Like how did that come about instead of making the decision just to go on your own from day one?
Plain ignorance, man. I didn't really know how real estate teams were structured or how real estate was structured as a whole. I just knew there was a broker. And so it's kind of funny. My old team leader, Mike Woods, a dear friend of mine. I had asked him for a position because my friend Josh Morrow, I was talking to him. I was working in the Department of Veterans Affairs. Maybe if I should backtrack a little bit there. At the Veterans Affairs, I gradually moved up the corporate ladder. Became the congressional analyst guy. And was basically getting fired in two directions, one by my office, one by government officials, and it was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's a very noble and thankful job, but there's not a lot of reward in it, like you're dealing with toxic managers and a toxic environment. And so I actually, tried to go back into mortgage lending, and that's when my friend Joshua Amaro was like, no, I'm going back into lending. You should become a realtor. And I was just like, my mom was a realtor once, and when I was a kid, I used to love watching Lifestyles of Rich and Famous with, I think his name is Robin Leach. I watched that over cartoons, dude. I would love watching that show, and I was like, I took architecture in high school, and I loved homes. So I was like, you know what, you're right, man. So I asked my former team leader, I was like, hey, Mike, we're in contract to sell my house at this point in time too, by the way. I said, hey, Mike, I'm going to jump into real estate. Will you hire me? He said, no. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I'm like, we're in contract to sell my house. This is what I'm thinking in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh, whatever, man. I'm going to go ahead and do this anyways and figure it out myself. So about 2 months later, we close on my house. He takes me out to dinner, and I'm like, hey, Mike, what do I need to do to get into real estate? Where do I start? And he goes, well, you got two options. You can go to a local big house brokerage here, they'll train you for 6 months, and then you get to go sell. I was like, 6 months waiting? I can't wait 6 months to sell. Like, that's not in the cards for me. And then he goes, or you can come work for me. Stuck out his hand. I was like, my man, you had me taken care of this whole time. So yeah. So that's how I got started working with the team. Mike Wood gave me a once in a lifetime opportunity, if you ask me, to come work with him and be a part of his team.
Yeah. Now going through the experience, because this is a question which I know that you've been a part of the boot camp, and you see, we get lots of questions in there. And a common question we get from new agents is, should I go on my own or should I join a team? And one of my big regrets for me personally was not joining a team early on and just trying to figure all this out on my own.
Right.
But if I would have joined that team, the right team, found the right team leader, man, I would have learned so much. Shorten that learning curve instead of trying to figure all this stuff out on your own. Do you feel that joining that team and learning the right habits out of the gate was a big reason for your massive success that you created?
Yeah, it was instrumental because it allowed me to understand how the business, I guess you could say, tree really works. You have the broker, the team leader, and then the listing assistants, and it just, like, I'm a command and structure kind of guy. I was in the military, obviously. I understand that. And when that was presented in front of me, it gave me a bearing to work with that. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to pay a little bit in the front right now as a team member. But in the back end, when I get out on my own, I'm going to be so much more prepared than the average agent that comes out into this market on their own, thinking they're going to crush it without some kind of mentorship. It's been a game. I know it's been a game changer for me. I wanted, without the help of you and having been put into the structure with the Mike Wood team, I probably only closed 10 deals a year, probably, if that. So it was. I think it's essential for an inexperienced, especially someone doesn't have a mortgage background, to come in on a team is the best way to get your education. And I got my dog howling in the back. I'm sorry. Can I let him out real quick?
Yeah, of course, dude.
All right, sorry, man. There you go. Sorry about that.
No, all good, man. All good, dude. So then, all right, so your first year, you jump on the team, and dude, you crush it, right? $6.7 million in gross volume sales your first year, which I don't know what that breaks down in transaction count, but guessing probably, 20, 30 deals, right? What did you do that first year that allowed you to create that success? Like, how were you getting that business?
Well, I tell you what, one thing that I wish I would have done that I know people have said on here before is start off with that database. I pretty much used Facebook, man, as my initial database, and I hounded people and sent out letters, and also sign calls, ad calls, and we had Boomtown as well. So my production from sign ad calls and was about 1.5%. And everything else was from Sphere, man. I just worked with my friends and just would call them up and just hounding them. I don't know how I'm a hunter, so I just never give up on an opportunity. When someone says something about real estate, I'm like, hey, right in there to intercept that conversation and try to be known as your real estate agent. So a lot of it had to do with just working my Sphere. My Sphere has been the most support for my business so far throughout these 30 months too. So I'm obviously doing something right with my Sphere. So yeah, basically the first year was my Sphere, just hitting them up and using Facebook to just kind of throw some, hey, this is what I'm doing today. I would do some silly videos. I would sing in them. I don't know. If you want to go back in my Facebook history, you'll see my goofy side come through. Any way I can market myself at that point in time was kind of through social media and just staying in touch with my Sphere. And it did propel. I did close 21 deals that first year. So.
Yeah. So, and I love it, dude, right? Because, this is something that most agents don't go after is, they think, oh, man, I'm brand new to real estate. I don't have a database. I'm like, whoa, hold on, man. You got all people that you're connected with from, your whole entire existence to this point. But a lot of people, I think, are scared because they're like, man, I don't want to come off as that douchey, salesy real estate, right? So what were some of the ways that you talked with your sphere, letting people know that, hey, I'm now in real estate. I can help you with these needs without being that annoying person. Like, what are some things that worked well? What kind of advice would you give the audience to be able to work that sphere?
Yeah, I think my philosophy is a little bit different. It's definitely don't have that limiting self-belief about yourself. I think continuing to educate oneself is really important. Like reading books like Psychology of Selling with Brian Tracy. That book just was right on with where I needed to read that book at that point in time. And thanks, by the way, for recommending that. But to get back to your question, what was I talking about? I'm sorry, I kind of just airheaded it.
How you're working your sphere and staying in touch, at least especially in that first year.
Yeah.
In real estate.
So what I like to do, one of the things I in our greatness tracker that I had on the team was break bread. We had to break bread, get a drink, get a meal, get coffee with somebody. And I kind of use that to my advantage where I would ask people to dine with me a lot. And I started incorporating mortgage lenders, people, my business partners, to kind of come together and just do these small networking meals with people. I have that same kind of mentality as that one guy who invented SkySlope. Like if I don't have somebody to go to lunch with that day, I'm not going to eat lunch, man. I'm just going to keep working because I failed at one of my key components to my business is getting in front of people and trying to network and get to the next person and then to the next person and so on and so forth. So I think a lot of my hustle comes with eating. Getting people to come eat with me, have a drink with me, is super important. I think that helps build a rapport unlike any other. I don't want to be that douchey sales guy that's, I do wear a suit predominantly when I'm out in the field working because I like to look good. And if I look good, I feel good and I'm going to sell. I'm going to be on top of the world. But I don't want to come across as that douchey guy because I really am the guy who'll take care of you. And I've gone above and beyond for several clients to make sure, shit gets done, man. So
love it. Well, the cool thing about it, dude, if you network right, and this is why I always tell anybody that's in any type of business, like one of the best books you can ever read is How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? Most people network wrong, but it's like, hey, man, just want to check in, catch up with you. Let's go to lunch. I'll buy you lunch, right? But then, when you're sitting there, number one, you're buying them a meal or you're meeting up, getting them your time, and just when you're interested in them, figuring out what they're doing, right? Asking the right questions. A lot of reciprocity. They're going to eventually ask about you, your family, your career, right? And it's such an easy pathway into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it just brings down all barriers. And I'm super comfortable when I can get in front of people and have the opportunity to take them out to dinner. And that's what I do with, I just recently got hooked up. I was trying to figure out the Facebook ads, man. And I'm kind of like in that generation that kind of missed how to work with computers and I don't know, man. So I was trying to figure out Facebook ads and I knew I was doing it wrong because I would post a picture of myself selling a house and then I'd spend like $180 on it to boost it and I get like 10,000 likes. I'm like, sweet, this is working, but how this isn't working. So it's kind of crazy how the world manifests just these positive things in my life here recently. And the guy who actually bought my house a couple years ago just started, he actually called me up the other day. He's like, hey man, I'm doing Facebook ads now. I'm like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I've totally been trying to figure this out. And he's like, well, will you let me do one Facebook ad for free and see if you like my service? And I was just blown away, man. The first ad he did, I got over 200 leads, costed about $3 and a couple, like $3.20 some odd cents a lead. I got in front of like 4 people already. Someone wants to sell their house and go buy another house. Dude, Facebook ads is one of my new legs of my business. And it's just, man, social media is so powerful. and how you can use it and to your advantage. And dude, I'm still scrubbing that list of 200 people, and I just got another listing up, and I'm trying to, you know, what's that guy's name? Danny Morell, I think.
Yep.
Man, that dude's so awesome. That's another great guy that people should, you know, try to be like. You know, that guy is awesome. But he said, you know, one thing I had questioning in my mind as I got off my own, I was like, well, what do I do? Do I go get an assistant now? You know, do I go get a buyer's agent? La la la. And one thing that has stopped me from doing all that at this point in time is what Danny said. He said, you want to be in a position when you cannot answer your phone and you're making it rain. So I know that once I get these, you know, Facebook ads dialed in, I have the systems and process to get these calls all dialed in, because I can't get them all dialed in within the first 5 minutes, unfortunately. But the way my buddy Nate Pierce with Corvus Media Solutions is setting it up is that the people who are interested in this house are now going to be able to set appointments with me. And so I'm sure you probably are familiar with that because it's all new to me. So this technology is just blowing my mind away. And it just seems like these leads are like real people. Yeah, sometimes you get these fake numbers and whatever. And I'm happy with those people not putting that information in there because, hey, I probably don't want to work with them anyway. So it's a challenge though, man, to be on top, to be a single agent. I have over 200 leads to scrub on a weekly basis, and I'm also out in the field getting referrals, and you know that's what's really keeping the fire under my business going right now.
Yeah, love it, dude. So when you transition from being on the team to on your own, right? Because you got a lot of infrastructure in place that teams provide.
Yeah.
When you transition on your own, like what were some of the challenges that you had to overcome? You know, maybe some of the things that kind of surprised you that you weren't expecting, because you go from this place of, hey, all these systems and infrastructures in place, to now, boom, on my own. I got to create all my own systems and infrastructure.
Right. That was, gosh, man, I thought I had it all dialed in. I actually was still producing, getting referrals, and just kind of getting stuck in the transactions. I think that was the worst thing that possibly happened to me when I got off on my own. We do have an agent, in-house transaction coordinator who's amazing, who's her name's Jennifer, and she's just been kind of like my counselor through these past since July. So that's been a huge benefit, but man, the challenges have been for me, because I was never listing houses, was listing a house. This may sound ridiculous, but the intimidating part for me was the paperwork, because I was not familiar with the paperwork. I'm definitely familiar with buying side, but I was intimidated by what I did not know. But fortunately for me, that's when my TC, Jennifer Turnbull, was like, hey, I can do this for you. We're going to do it nice and easy. We're going to highlight everything so that you know what to talk about. And you know, it's just like what you said during boot camp. You got to dial in your presentations. You got to script train. You got to objection train. You got to be ready. You got to be able to, I'm not selling myself. I'm selling my consulting, the ability to answer your questions and to give you the right pricing on your house and all these fun stuff. That was the most intimidating part for me, because I was walking into a place that I'd never been in the business. For one, I was only, you know, I definitely did listings before, but I was just co-listing, and it was all done by the listing assistant. So I had no idea what the paperwork entailed. So that was kind of scary, man, for me. But if you got a good transaction coordinator or someone in your office that is willing to mentor you, like my broker is amazing, because I was spiraling out of control this past December and November, December, and I was like, okay, I'm not on the team anymore. Do I belong with RE/MAX in this brokerage? Because Mike was the one who brought me on. Do I need to go find myself, so to speak, and find another brokerage? because after I left the team, I was getting highly recruited. I felt like I was getting more phone calls to work with other brokerages than I was getting leads and referrals. So I kind of got caught up in that. So I think, basically when it comes down to it, I wish I had been more focused and on my goals instead of spinning out of control and letting these recruiters kind of pull me away from RE/MAX, because I was about to leave and go with a local company. And I told my broker, who I'm really fond of, Amy Lessinger, and she goes, okay, let's have a meeting before you leave to XYZ brokerage. I said, okay, cool. I wanted to do face-to-face before I left anyways. And she goes, okay, so here's the numbers. And she slides these annual numbers in front of me. She goes, this brokerage averages per agent only 6 transactions a year. She goes, our brokerage averages 21 transactions per agent per year. And she goes, Brian, we are one of the top 50 brokerages in the nation. Do you know why that is? And I was like, because you're a badass broker. I was like, okay, I'm convinced. I'm going to stay here with you. And my broker was really instrumental in assisting me with getting my systems and processes dialed in, and just kind of cracking that whip, being like, hey, Brian, you have a lot of experience in a short amount of time. You're going to do well. And I needed that reinforcement, because it was scary leaving the team when I had my own transaction coordinator. I had assistant to do this and that. It was a robust mega team. So I had all these people in line to take care of the back end stuff. All I had to do was a little bit of negotiating and go do sell calls. And I had all these leads coming in. So another factor was like, I was completely lost with leads, and I didn't know how to generate them. Obviously, I was doing them wrong on Facebook and boosting a picture of myself and thinking that was going to get some business. And so when Nate Pierce came on board and helped me out with the Facebook ads, it just my confidence with my broker and Nate coming to the rescue, so to speak, and giving and showing me how to produce some Facebook leads has just been a blessing, man. It's just been such an awesome blessing, and I'm so honored that my broker, fought for me to stay to stay with RE/MAX. It's an honor, man. It really is.
Yeah, and I think one kind of common theme with you that's contributed a lot to your success, and I think that hopefully the audience is really paying attention to is, look, it's impossible as an entrepreneur, real estate agent, right? That's what we are, entrepreneurs, business owners. Just happen to be in the real estate business. It's impossible to be amazing and badass at everything, right? And one thing that you've done so good at is like, hey, here's what I'm good at. Here's what I suck at. And then you go out there and find the people for the help, right? Like with the listings, okay, man, boom, I got this resource over here. Let me have them help me and get this dialed in. My system process, let me go to my broker, have them help me. This Facebook guy, right? Let them help me. And I think so many people try to figure all this stuff out on their own instead of just reaching out for support. It just shortens that path so massively.
Yeah. And I think like you just nailed it on the head, is that you got to reach out for help. I'm very stubborn. I'm not going to say I think I know it all, but I'm the type of guy that I want to figure it out, and I want to fail fast, and I know it's going to hurt sometimes, but I like to figure shit out on my own. And so I've kind of let that guard down, where I'm like, hey, like yesterday I reached out to my broker and I was like, hey, how the hell do I deal with this? And she helped me out, helped me put out a big fire. And it's awesome when you can just text your broker and then 10 minutes later she's on the phone to take care of you. But you're right, man. Hiring the right people to do the right things, because I don't know how to do Facebook ads. I'm not the tech guy. I can do videos and I can talk your ear off all day, but I cannot do Facebook ads or any of this technological stuff that is super imperative to our business right now.
Yep. So then, all right. So now you're on your own. You got Facebook ads. Now you've got dialed in. That's creating big success for you. We talked about your sphere of influence and those referral business that's coming in now. Do you have any other pillars or anything else that you're doing that's been working really well to help you go out there and grow and expand as fast as you have?
Yeah, what I do is kind of like the face-to-face stuff. I've been getting referrals from builders, to be honest with you. I go to builders and I just build a rapport with them as well. Although I haven't capitalized on any of those referrals yet, it's just nice to know that, if you make your presence known and you just be nice and be yourself and be personal and meet these people, because they're stuck in an sales office all day dealing with people revolving in and out of there. And I think it's nice to go into those sales offices and just get to know the people, get to know that market. Because like the number one product I sell, Josh, are brand new homes. I'm such an advocate for buying a new home over a resale home, just from a buying agent side. It's the easiest transaction to take care of. You get the contract and then you get the closing date and the final walkthrough and the closing date. And then you have a house that's got 3 types of warranties, and so that's one leg of my business that it's, although a very small leg, as far as getting referrals, I think it's super important because we stopped building houses for 10 years in Reno because we were at the epicenter, ground zero of, the market falling out. So, we're like 50,000 houses behind, and we pulled about 5,000 permits for this Washoe County here in Reno Sparks. So to kind of give you an indication of where some of the market's being driven, it's in new homes. So, I think agents that are around here, there's some that just are absolutely do not want to mess with the new home, and that's fine because I'll take that home for a buy. So, I think it's a great place to, especially in my market, to get to know where the new homes are at, because you can capitalize on those and make some decent cash flow with a lot less headaches.
Yeah, love it, dude. So one thing, okay, you got these 200 Facebook leads that came in, and you talked about converting 4 of those already to clients and 4 sales, which is insane numbers, right? That's 1 out of 50 leads. Most people are like 1 out of 200. So I got to imagine, and this can come back from your mortgage background a little bit, that your follow-up is on point with these leads.
Yeah.
Then walk us through how intentional you are and what that looks like. Like you time blocking time every single day to follow up, and like what does that look like with your follow-up strategy? Because it sounds to me like you've got that really dialed in.
So the way I like to handle business is from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock. That's the phones. I try not to do the field work from that time. That's the time that I want to own is during the morning. As you know, fortune is in the follow-up. Those leads, I have like a greatness tracker that I follow. It's similar to what you have. And, the greatness tracker, I have to make these phone calls. I have to fill this out, although this is not the one that's filled out. That's what keeps me on track, essentially, is the greatness tracker. And I don't ever want to go back to a corporate job. And that's one of the biggest motivators. And my daughter, of course, being able to take care of my daughter and being able to have the free time that I have right now to watch her play in the backyard and have this interview, so I'm just aggressive, man. I'm a hunter. I don't want to go back to that corporate job where I had that office downstairs with my red stapler, man. It's just, when I was a kid, I would see a bum on the street and I would tell myself, I'm never going to be that person. And it stuck with me ever since, I was growing up, going through high school. And I just always felt like something was like there for me to take control of in this life and to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know it was being an entrepreneur was what I was trying to take control of. So, it's just, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing to have your systems and processes dialed in, work 90, 60s in the morning, and then go, I'm still dealing with a lot more buyers right now. So go do inspections and everything else in the afternoon.
So when you time block this 8 to noon, because I think this is really important, where it's like, all right, 8 to noon, man, is where I'm pounding those phones. I'm following my leads, right? And making that happen. I own this, non-negotiable. Like, how strict are you with that time? I mean, is it 5 days a week every single time from that? Or, I mean, is there times where you'll kind of break that? Like if it's a listing appointment client, or like, what does that look like?
Oh, sure. Dude, if I know I get an opportunity to get face-to-face with somebody, I'm going to definitely work around that time structure. Because the odds of converting, I think you said is like 66% chance of converting somebody when you get face-to-face. So, I always hold my buyer's consultations. Like this is the one thing that'll derail me from making those phone calls, is getting in front of people. And when I take them out to lunch, I always have a lending partner there with me too. And we just like work as a team to assist with people and our clients to make sure all their questions are answered. And it's about educating and bringing value and letting them know how the systems and processes work. So I know it kind of veered away from your question, but dude, if I get in front of somebody, I'm gonna definitely kind of work around that. It's pretty strict Monday through Wednesday. I try to reel back a little bit Thursday and Friday because I know the weekend is always it's not always. It can be pretty busy. But if I manage my schedule to where I can get everything done during the week, then I've got a free weekend, or even a Friday. So sometimes I can time block nothing on the weekends so I can hang out with my kid. And that's really important for me and obviously for her too.
Yeah. Well, I think, and again, just really want our audience to really pay attention, man, is dude, I mean, last year, almost $12 million of gross volume sales, right? So when you put that, and that's over $300,000 of commissions.
It's sitting right here.
Yeah, as an individual agent, right? But because you're strict with your time blocking and so proactive with your schedule, that allows you to go out there and have a life and invest that time and take those and take 3-day weekends. But you're extremely strict in being proactive with your schedule.
Yeah. No, it's at first I was really squirrely with it. But those 90/60s, man, you know what I'm talking about, dude. If you just, a phone call can wait. Sometimes phone calls can wait. Like Jim's calling about the valve on the water heater. That's something that could probably wait an hour. If I know what that phone call is coming in for, that person can wait 1 hour. Just got to be strict and just have that discipline. Because discipline is discipline and consistency are the true vitamins of being an entrepreneur. Like you take those every day, you're going to succeed. The proof's in the pudding. The proof's in these numbers, the numbers that I have here. And you're right. Like the growth, I had 284,000, man. It's insane. I've told you that I could have made that 2 years ago when I first started in this real estate. I had no clue. I just dreamed it, the visualizing my goals every day. Like last year, man, I hit every single goal that I wrote out, except for the actual volume of money that I earned. But I wanted a hot tub, got the hot tub. I wanted to remodel my house. I wanted to pay for 1 year's worth of my daughter's education. That's paid for. I've stacked some money in the bank, made some money in stock market. I've got investment properties. Life is good, dude. Like it's possible. It is possible. No one should ever have any limited self-beliefs. If this is what you want in life, it's so obtainable, and I'm living proof of it, man.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I mean, so many people are out there chasing what's the magic lead source or the magic script or the only magic pill, and this is just what you said, right, is that consistency, the discipline and consistency. Yeah. You can have the worst scripts on the planet, but if you're consistent, you're going to have massive, massive success.
Yeah. It's just get on the phones, man. Like your phone can make you $1 million a year. I did a presentation with the team when I was on the team, and I was just connecting dots with the phone and scripts because they weren't, they didn't believe in doing scripts. And I was just like, I'm one of the top agents. I was number 2 on the team. And I was catching up to the number 1 guy, and they're like, how are you doing this? I'm like, dude, I do scripts. I'll stay up at night and I'll have my dog look at me and I'll just say the scripts to my dog, or, I'll go in front of the mirror. I want to be a great realtor. I want to be relevant. When, not, if the downturn happens, but, certainly going to be a downturn happening soon. And although our economy looks very strong for the next 18 months, as the economic strategists have forecasted here. But all good things go away sometimes too. So I just want to. I'm not here just to be like, hey, I'm here in the moment kind of real estate agent. This is my career, and this is how I'm going to take care of my daughter and make sure she has a great life. And real estate is amazing. I'm so glad I got to meet you and throughout this process. I don't know, man. I'm so blessed, dude. It's dumb luck that I even found you on YouTube. So it was a goal of mine to be on this show at one point in time this year. I just didn't realize that reaching out to you through YouTube would actually make this come to fruition. So I'm so blessed, man. And meeting Dustin, who's now a really good friend of mine, who's out of Colorado, out there in Denver, I believe. That was a crazy day too, man. Like, I was driving home. I just got like 3 listings and a buyer. I was like, dude, this is amazing. This is working. What I'm doing this is magic. And this is on a Friday, and Thursday night, my buddy Justin called me up and said, hey, dude, we're going to buy a house in Denver. We're finally ready. Can you find me an agent? I'm like, yeah, of course. So, as I'm driving home, I'm on cloud 9 and I'm listening to your podcast with Dustin on it. He's like, yeah, I'm here in like Colorado, Littleton, Denver area. I'm like, dude, as soon as your podcast ended, I called him up, left him a message. He calls me back up and he's like, dude, what's going on? I'm like, oh, I loved your podcast, man. It was so awesome, so real. And he's like, oh, thanks, man. He's like, hey, dude, I got a client for you. Let's talk business now, man. And so next week, he got him into contract and what do you know? New house. So yeah, it's awesome. I love this podcast and I love the family connection here, man. It's so amazing.
Yeah. Love it, dude. Love it, man. So knowing everything you know now, I mean, you've been in the business 2.5 years and you've created massive success in that time, but knowing everything you know now, like if you could start, if you today could go back to yourself 2.5 years ago when you started this and give yourself 2 pieces of advice that you feel really fast forward your trajectory to success, what do you feel those would be?
Man, I feel like there's a laundry list of those things, man. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon a little bit, man, because if I had discovered you before I got into real estate, I would have joined GSD earlier. It would have given me the fabric of what I needed to understand of how a business is actually operated. Because when I got into this business, I didn't really realize that I was going to be a business owner. I was treating my business like an employee, and I think it's really important that you treat your business like a business, and you make business decisions. So the boot camp is, my God, it's got me here, man. These numbers do not lie. As I was telling you, man, I shot up through closing 7 deals and having nothing in my pipe to 14 escrows after watching your YouTube video and going through your boot camp. And it hasn't stopped. I closed 36 deals last year. And just the other day, sitting in the park, man, I got asked for a business card. I said, oh, sorry, I just gave my last business card away. I would love to get your contact information. And this guy gave me his business card. So now I'm going to go look for a house for this guy's daughter. Just because that YouTube video, man, that shit's so gangster, man. I love it, man. I try to be, and this sounds so corny. I try to like be, what's that word? Not be like, I try to be like you when I'm out there selling. I'm thinking about like, what would Josh be doing at this point in time in his career and stuff like that. So, gosh, I've kind of ran that one into the ground, but, and I think really dialing in your presentations, that's number 2. Like, know your presentations, know, your product. If you know what you're selling, then you know how to consult. And then the people who you're working with will feel like they're being consulted and not sold, in my opinion. So if you bring that value to them and you can answer their questions and their objections with the right responses, dude, the sky's the limit. You can do anything you want in real estate, in my opinion, and just take care of people and do your best. And Just follow the golden rule, man. Treat others like you'd like to be treated. And that's how I go about my life.
Yep. Love it, dude. Love it. Powerful stuff. All right, Brian. So, just like you were listening to the podcast, you had this referral, got on the phone with Dustin from the podcast. If those that are listening right now, maybe they have a referral for your area, or they just want to get in touch with you, follow you, see what you're doing, where's the best place to do that?
You can give me a call anytime. I'm a talker, as you can probably tell. My phone number is 775-848-3029. You can give me a call anytime. You can connect with me there. I'm on Facebook, Brian with an I, E. Bejun. And then I'm on Instagram, Brian Sells Reno. So I'm all over. I don't have Twitter or those type of social media places, but I am on Facebook and Instagram. So you can hit me up there, call me up. If you ever need anything, anybody out there, I'd love to help you out. It'd be an honor.
Love it. Powerful stuff. And those watching us, we'll make sure to have all that information below. So make it super, super easy on you. And I know we interview podcasts with this, but information without implementation truly is just a start of illusion. Information is not power. It's taking that information, taking massive action on it that creates the power for you to create the life you want and deserve. And Brian has shared so many amazing pieces of advice with you guys today. And as he's shown, right, it's taking that action, that consistent action day in and day out that's helped him create that massive success. So take something that you learned today, go out there and implement right away. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Go out there, start implementing, taking massive action. And again, create the life you want and deserve. And Brian, truly appreciate you taking time on your busy day to be here, man. It's been a lot of fun, dude.
Dude, it's been an honor, man. Thank you so much, Joshua. Thank you so much, man.
Yep, 100%, my friend. All right, you guys, thanks you again for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.
Peace.